Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Veronica with Nurturing Connections Homeschool.com, where I share planners and resources and blog posts to help you connect with what matters most. Now, it has been quite a while since I've been on here. I honestly did not expect to be gone for so long. I had kind of given everybody a heads up that I was going to take a short break, and then I was able to continue making videos, and then I just disappeared for a while. So I've been okay. I've kind of shared a little bit more on Instagram along the way where I can just shoot a quick story here and there or a post just to give some quick updates. But as far as having the time to create videos like this, I just was in a season where I could not get it done. We had some challenging times as we wrapped up last year and a bumpy start to this year. I know that I've shared in the past just a little bit about what some of our challenges are in our homeschool. We do have some special needs that we are working through, some learning differences, neurological disorders, possible dyslexia. So these are some things that I wish I could share more about in this season to kind of help those that are also going through something very similar, because I know for me personally, it has been something that could be somewhat discouraging. When I'm seeing what other homeschools look like, where I'm seeing all of these amazing ideas and things like that that are out there, and realizing that we don't always fit into that mold. Our homeschool doesn't always look the way I would like it to, or the way I think it should, or the way someone else might think it should. We've had different challenges that we've had to overcome. We've had different experiences that we've had to work through, and it's something that I hope to be able to speak to more so in the future. Right now, I want to respect the privacy of my children, and it's not my story to share just yet. But what I do want to say in this season, at this time, for anybody going through that, I have really come to find that this homeschool journey is a faith journey. And as I've hit those struggles, as I've hit those trials, it has just drawn me closer and closer to the Lord. He has been our greatest strength in our times of weakness. He has been our hope. He has been our refuge. He has been our guide and our comforter and our counselor. And I cannot stress how important it has been for me to get in the Word almost every single day, and to allow the Word to get in me, to help change me, to help renew my mind and see things through a biblical perspective, to see things as God sees them, and to just really pray for that discernment as I navigate our homeschool, as I navigate each day. I had posted an Instagram, I was sharing about my new home plus school planner, and I had put that proverb on there about how a man devises his way, but the Lord directs his steps. And when I shared that, I had no idea what was in store for me, but that is pretty much what happened. I mapped out the year, kind of put everything in here, and sure enough, the situations that we were in did not allow those plans to happen. But God in His grace has been faithful, and it's coming together beautifully. The connections that we're making have been so good, and it just took me back to that reminder of why I put together that bucket planner. It was to ultimately keep my eyes on what was most important. And so even though things didn't happen on the days that I thought they should or would, they're happening, they're unfolding, because we have taken this year to prayer. We've asked the Lord for His guidance, and we're just trusting Him with that journey. And I know I'm barely coming on here to say, yeah, here we are, it's going well, but I did want to share that encouragement with some of you. God is faithful. Trust in Him. Seek Him above all, friends. I want to encourage you in that respect. We don't see everything. We only see this little bitty piece of that bigger picture. And so we have to trust that when God promises that He will work all things together for our good and His glory, He will do that. And when He says that He will complete the work that He has started, we need to trust in that. And that's where I am in my journey. I'm taking it one day at a time. I'm enjoying the time I have with my children as they are growing. It's becoming more and more apparent to me how fleeting this time is. And I just want to soak it all in and do what I can to be faithful with this time. So that is where we've been, what we've been doing. We started Homeschool Co-op back in August, but I just was not ready for the year. I was still hitting some of those bumps, trying to figure out high school and middle school and elementary. For those of you that are new here, I have a 9th grader, a 6th grader, and a 3rd grader. So I am running the span right now, which has been quite the challenge, and we've had to change some things up a little bit. So I just wanted to take the time now to just kind of give you a little update, what's working for us, what we've changed, what our schedule looks like, and how I'm pulling it all together right now. That has really helped us get over that hump and find our new rhythm, find what's now working for us and helping us to move forward in a positive and encouraging way. So first things first, one of the changes we made was to our morning time. It's just focused on discipleship. So in my discipleship bucket, our main goal is that our children will love God and love others. And so during that time of discipleship, we come together to learn more about the Lord. We read Psalms together. We read some other Bible books together. We read books on apologetics, we read books on theology, we sing hymns, we do hymn studies. Sometimes we just read missionary stories or picture books that are just edifying and encouraging, like some by Max Lucado that I found along the way. We might memorize scripture, we're memorizing the Bible books, we're talking about the Bible books. All of that is happening during our discipleship time. So this is such a special time for us. We are having some really good, deep conversations about worldview and what's happening in our world and kind of what this looks like and what this means for them individually as they are growing and shaping their own understanding of who God is and what faith is and what it means to walk in faith. And one of the things that I have found most encouraging to my mama heart through all this is that all those hard times, all those struggles and challenges that we've endured, this past year and along the way, as it has strengthened my faith, I have seen all of those opportunities that have also been put in place to grow the faith of my children. And those struggles, those trials that we have been through, have been such great learning opportunities for them to know what to do in those times of struggle, to come to the Lord, to read their word, to pray together. Those are things that I've always said are the most important things and the most important reason we homeschool. And as much as I would like to say, gosh, I wish we didn't have any struggles, I wish everything was so easy, I realize now more and more how our faith muscles are grown and developed through those struggles and through those challenges if we are faithful with what the Lord calls us to. I've been thinking about like working out, when you're lifting weights, it hurts and it hurts a lot. And sometimes you're sore for days, but it's that friction, it's that tension that causes that growth. And so remembering that in those times of struggle, that is the tension. That is where we are called to build our children up, to encourage them, to exhort them, right? And to rebuke them if we need to, in the sense of calling to their attention any behaviors that are not in accordance with God's will, of admonishing them and putting truth into their minds so that they can gain that biblical perspective. So seeing things through that new light has been really encouraging to me, and then having that opportunity each and every day to meet together and to have those conversations has been so good. So we're doing that together for high school. That will be part of a Bible credit that my son will receive, and for the rest of us, it is just a part of our of our Bible study, of our education. So we have that first and foremost. That usually happens around 9 o'clock, and again, it's 30 to 40 minutes. Then one of the things I found most helpful in our morning time and putting together all those resources that I just shared a bit ago was creating a loop, a morning time loop. So I just took one of my pages here in my planner and I put loop 1, loop 2, loop 3, loop 4, and I plugged all of those things in there. So for example, hymn study might be on loop 1 and singing our hymns might be 2 and 3. Reading our Psalms would be 1, 2, 3. Reading a missionary story would be 4, that type of thing. So I plugged everything into these loops, and each day that we gather, we just do the next thing. So we start off at loop 1, and then we go into loop 2. If we take a field trip or do something different, then when we get back, we go to loop 3, and so forth. So that is how I'm running morning time right now. It makes it so much easier in my planner. I just put loop 1, loop 2, and that's all I have to write. I don't have to list every single book. We also do poetry in there and so forth. So that's all in there. So after our morning time loops, then my son goes and gets started with his homeschool checklist, which I'll talk about in just a bit. He does his independent studies, and then I meet with the girls for world geography. So we are currently using kind of a hodgepodge of resources. In the past, I've done exploring countries and cultures from my father's world with the kids. So the older two really went through that curriculum. The youngest was a little too young, so we're bringing a lot of that back, and I've added some additional resources for my older daughter. Now, if you're interested in finding out more about that, I have an entire video review on my father's world, exploring countries and cultures, so you can check it out. I'll link it below. But we're doing that about 2 to 3 days a week. 1 day a week they do have co-op, and then another day they usually do American Heritage Girls, which has been fantastic. If you are familiar with my channel, you know I've shared a lot about that. It's been a great fit for our family, and it's something we're continuing with. And we also still do art with Grandma. So she comes on 1 day a week to do art lessons with them. She's a former art teacher. So she continues to use her gifts to bless our family. Then on that 4th loop, what we try to do is add in a game of some sort or a project or a recipe that we want to try from a different country and kind of make it a lighter day for the rest of us. And we try to make it a lighter day overall. So that's how world geography goes, and then everyone branches out into their independent studies, and I start off with my youngest at that point. Now all the kids have a daily checklist that looks like this, and it's for the entire week. So I fill out all of the tasks for each day of the week. Here they will list some goals that they have for themselves, and then I run off a copy of this 6 times. So I run off 6 copies of it and put it in their notebook. I bind it all together, and when they get through all 6, then they've completed a 6 weeks term, which is where we are right now. They've just completed all of those. So on here, I used to put dates. I used to put Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but what I found was that if we missed a day because of sickness or we wanted to take a field trip, then that particular day would kind of throw us off here. So I just number them now 1 through 30. When we get to the end, we've counted up our days. So this plus what we do in morning time is how we get a homeschool day together. So that's been working out well. My 3rd grader just got her little notebook this year for the first time, so that's been really good, keeping her on track. What else are we doing here? Field trips, we're still doing about 1 field trip a month. As far as extracurricular activities are concerned, we are venturing into a few new activities for the girls. They are really enjoying acro, tumbling, ballet, and so we have decided to go ahead and do those activities after school. So when the kids were little, we loved taking advantage of those daily, in the middle of the day homeschool classes. So we loved that it was with other homeschoolers. It was the middle of the day. We'd get home and finish whatever we needed to work on, and it worked out really, really well. But as the kids have gotten older, we have a little bit more that we're responsible for. I just found that breaking up our day like that just didn't work. We would go and then come back, and it was so hard to get everybody back into a rhythm. So I've really tried this particular year, at the end of last one as well, scheduling everything after school. And so that meant that we block off our homeschool day. We don't touch that. We just sign up for things afterwards, just like everyone else. Now, I will say, I don't know how this is going to come off, so here it goes. Last year, when we kind of got thrown into something similar to that, the kids, the older two, were swimming, so they joined a swim team. And it was no longer with just homeschool kids, this was with all kids. And one thing we discovered at this point was just how different the culture was. And so, you know, when we join our homeschool groups and so forth, we are surrounded by other families who believe the way we do, who share our love for the Lord, or who share our just our values as parents and being there with our kids. You know, if we notice some kids are doing some things that are questionable, we talk to each other, we're encouraging each other. You know, it's a community effort. And so when we were thrown into this swim team experience, it was a very different dynamic. The kids were getting dropped off a lot of times, and so they were kind of left to their own devices. And what I found interesting at that time was just how highly sexualized a lot of these children were. They were very, very young, and the first things out of their mouth was their sexuality. It was their gender stuff, pronouns, and it really threw us for a loop early on. It was disheartening, to say the least. These are 9-year-olds, 10-year-olds, and to think that that is already how they identify themselves or see themselves, and that's the first thing that comes out of their mouth when they're meeting someone new. It was heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking to see the types of books they were reading, the types of shows or things they were watching on their phones. And so it was a huge eye-opener to me to really arm our kids, or to really come alongside our kids, to really disciple our kids and say, okay, as you get older, these are the types of experiences you're going to have. You're going to meet people of all different beliefs and faiths and abilities and everything else. How do we navigate that in a way that's healthy, in a way that's kind, in a way that's loving, but in a way that also establishes healthy boundaries so that we are not misled in any way? So we navigated that pretty well last year. This year, you know, as they're growing, we are releasing more and more of that responsibility unto them. But I love that because we homeschool, we still have that time for discipleship. We're still coming alongside them and saying, no, we're not just throwing you out there to navigate this on your own. We're here for you. We're here to answer those big questions that you have. We're here to help you navigate those differences, to help you make sense of what's happening in the world right now, and boldly standing for what we believe and explaining and talking to them about why. So lots to go into that, but I just wanted to share that with you because I know some of you are probably going through that as well as your kids are getting older, and it's just something that we've kind of discovered along the way, and I just thought I'd share with you guys a little bit about that. But anyway, it's going well so far. I'm so grateful for this journey, and I appreciate each and every one of you that have come alongside me and visited my page, or dropped a comment and just kind of shared your thoughts. Thank you so much for stopping by. I am hoping to get up some other videos soon on some of the curriculums and resources we're using or that we have found helpful, and of course to answer any questions you have. So please feel free to drop them below. I'd love to hear from you. And apart from that, happy homeschooling. I hope to see you here next time. And if you found this helpful in any way, please give me a thumbs up on your way out. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.